my beloved child. Now I need you to quiet your heart, to lay aside all the clamor of the world, and to open your mind like fertile soil ready to receive the seeds of truth. For today I am not merely whispering words of love, nor simply offering comfort to your weary soul. I am speaking clearly and decisively about a matter of great importance, something that must be confronted at this very moment. It cannot be delayed, postponed, or ignored. Do you remember the times before when I gently reminded you? The signs I sent your way? The subtle warnings you heard but ultimately overlooked because your heart was not yet truly ready? I do not blame you. I understand that in those moments, your heart was still burdened with many other concerns. I know that sometimes it was not an intentional dismissal, but rather because you were not yet deep enough to perceive the full dimension of what I was cautioning you about. Your heart had not yet widened enough to embrace the truth I was trying to impart. But now, my beloved, the time has come. This is no longer a gentle suggestion. This is the sounding of a trumpet. It is a resounding call within your soul that you cannot pretend not to hear. This is a divinely appointed moment in my plan for your life, a sacred intersection between mercy and righteousness, between love and correction. You are standing at the threshold of a pivotal decision, and I do not want you to move forward without the discernment that comes from me. What I am speaking to you now is not to confuse you, but to rescue you. It is not to instill fear, but to realign you with the sacred path I designed for you before the foundation of the world. You have strayed, not in one reckless leap, but through small, gradual steps taken in distraction. I have seen your weariness. I have witnessed the inner struggle each time you wrestled between doing what is right and yielding to fleeting emotions. And now, I cannot remain silent. I love you too much to watch you drift deeper into misdirection. This moment is not random. It is the precise convergence of spiritual maturity awakening within you, of a sharpened sensitivity returning to your heart, and of the new opportunities I am preparing ahead. Yet you cannot step into the next chapter if you still carry the old baggage of disobedience and hesitation. The door that is about to open is not wide enough for the things you have refused to release. I do not want you to walk into the future with chains from the past still binding your steps. I am calling you now, not with the roar of thunder, but with the urgent plea of a father's heart. My child, the time has come. It is time for you to let me touch the deepest places you have kept hidden. It is time for me to uproot what bears no fruit. It is time for me to cut away what has been causing you to bleed, the wounds you thought you had to endure forever. I did not create you to live in anguish. I created you to be free, to walk lightly in truth, to stand tall in my light. Do you know this? When you obey my call in this moment, not only will you find your freedom, but you will also unlock a cascade of open doors. The blessings you have long awaited, the promises you thought were delayed, the seasons you feared had passed you by, all will be restored as you realign yourself with heaven's divine order. There are things I withheld not because I forgot, but because I was waiting for you to be ready, and you are closer now than you have ever been. If only you will have the courage to take the first step. Do not be afraid to let go. For that which you surrender in obedience, I will replace with something better in wisdom. Do not fear facing the truth, for it is the truth that will set you free. And do not be afraid of being alone in the process. I am here not merely to point out what needs to change, but to walk each step with you. I will uphold you, strengthen you, wipe away your tears, and smile upon you as you courageously choose obedience. And in that very moment, when you say yes to me, all of heaven will rejoice, for a soul will have chosen life, chosen light, and chosen the path of truth. My beloved child, as the world groans with cries of awakening, as heaven and earth together herald the arrival of a sacred hour, I want you to understand that something profound yet unseen is unfolding within you, within your heart, your mind, and the deepest core of your soul, where no human eye can see, but where I am intimately familiar. It is a spiritual conflict forming and intensifying with each passing hour. It is the whisper of fear vying for space against faith. It is the subtle smoke of confusion trying to obscure the bright flame of discernment I have placed within you. My child, the earth is trembling in these days, not by accident, nor by uncontrolled chaos, but because I am shaking the foundations of the world to call humanity back to truth. I am allowing the sacred signs, those spoken of in Scripture, in prophecies, and in the voices of generations, to be revealed vividly, unmistakably, and decisively. The unusual natural phenomena, the upheavals among nations, the fractures in moral foundations, all of these are the resounding bells I am using to awaken a generation that has grown too accustomed to complacency, too consumed by chasing vanity, forgetting the very purpose for which their souls were created. I am releasing a special grace in this time, enabling many to recognize the signs they once misunderstood or ignored. I am opening spiritual eyes for those willing to see, and spiritual ears for those willing to listen. Those who once seemed far from me are now weeping tears of repentance. Hearts once hardened are now softly uttering their first prayers after years of coldness. I am calling, stirring, and inviting souls to return under the shadow of my wings, before the door of grace closes at its appointed hour. Yet amid this wave of awakening, I also see another phenomenon, a dense fog of fear and insecurity creeping into many hearts. People are being swept up in worries about tomorrow, about what has not yet happened, about instability, about the cacophony of news that stirs confusion within their souls. A spirit of bewilderment is breathing its cold breath across the land, causing many to forget that I still reign, that I have never relinquished my authority, that I remain the eternal King, even when every earthly foundation is shaken. Many souls feel adrift, like ships tossed in a stormy sea. They see what is happening around them, yet know not what to cling to. The future appears as a looming, menacing uncertainty. There are those who wake up in the middle of the night, clutching their chests, their hearts pounding, not because of dreams, but because of fear. Fear of loss, fear of suffering, fear of being too weak to endure, fear of being left behind, forgotten, or missing out on something they cannot even name. My child, I see it all. I see it even within you. Those times when you try to hide your fears under a cloak of reason. In those moments when you appear strong on the outside, but inwardly ache for a word of reassurance. I do not condemn you for these feelings. I understand the frailty of humanity. But I do not desire for you to remain in the land of uncertainty and doubt. I did not create you to live imprisoned by fear. I created you to trust, to rise, and to walk in a peace not anchored in circumstances, but anchored in the unshakable presence of myself. My child, Remember this: I have not given you a spirit of panic, but of power, love, and wisdom. What is happening in the world is not beyond my control. Though the nations rage, though economies tremble, though the hearts of men grow cold, I am still orchestrating all things for the good of those who love me and walk in my ways. I invite you not to be swept away by the current of fear. Rise up, not with clenched fists of anger, but with hands lifted high in worship. Allow me to fill your mind with divine understanding, so that you may discern what comes from me and what is the snare of deception. Learn to be still in the midst of the storm, not because the winds have ceased, but because you know that I am right there in the boat with you. My beloved, as the curtain of this present age gradually closes and a new season draws near, I see clearly what is unfolding within the hearts of men. Many souls are tossing amidst the turbulent waves. Many hearts that once burned brightly with faith have now grown faint under the invisible pressures of the world. Some who once stood firm upon my promises are now questioning the very truths they once held dear. They strive to walk forward, but their steps are trembling, and their hearts no longer beat with the steadfast rhythm of peace as they once did. I do not blame them, nor do I condemn. I am fully aware of the hidden battle taking place. I see the arrows of doubt being fired from the shadows. I see how the enemy of souls, the deceiver from the beginning, relentlessly prowls, seeking every crack in the human heart to sow seeds of suspicion. He whispers that I have forgotten, that I have abandoned, that my promises are outdated, and my miracles belong only to memories. He twists the truth, cloaking lies with the logic of this age, and uses fear to bind souls in invisible chains. Do you see it within yourself, my child? Those days when certainty seems to slip from your grasp, those nights when my silence leads you to question, those moments when you feel abandoned in a world spinning faster than your heart can bear. I understand it all, and I am here to remind you of one profound, unshakable truth. Fear holds no power over you unless you permit it to reign. Fear was never something I placed within you when I formed you with my very breath. You were created to walk in the light, not to cower in the shadows. You were destined to live in freedom, not to be enslaved by foreboding illusions of failure. Every worry that seeks to entangle you about the future, about security, about the rightness of your choices, can only claim authority if you allow its voice to be louder than mine. But my child, do not let it be so. Let my voice be the loudest in your mind. Let the truth I declare be the solid ground upon which you stand. For when you do, though all of hell may shake, you will remain unshaken. The uncertainties you are feeling are not your end. They are not a final sentence, but an invitation. An invitation to step deeper into the relationship between you and me. A relationship not merely based on theoretical belief, but on the daily commitment to live out that belief in every step you take. The unknowns, the closed doors, the unanswered questions, all have their purpose. I allow you to pass through the valley of shadows. Not so you would fall, but so that you would learn to cling to my hand tighter than ever before. I do not desire for you to live by shifting emotions, but by an unshakable trust in my faithfulness. Remember this: every word I speak is a word of life. Every promise I make never falls to the ground in vain. I never promise you something that I am incapable of fulfilling, nor do I ever leave you alone along the journey. What you are walking through today is not a sign that I have withdrawn from you, but a testimony that I am deepening your foundation, so that later, when I lift you higher, you will be able to stand without being shaken. Let my peace reign in your heart. It is not an artificial stillness born from favorable circumstances, but a transcendent peace that flows from knowing that even though everything around you may change, I do not. That peace will guard your mind and soul, quiet the unnecessary noise, and draw your heart back to the very center of all things. Me. When my peace reigns, every lying voice will be silenced. When my peace is present, you will walk with a steadiness that will cause the enemy to tremble, and those whose souls are panicking will be drawn closer to the light you carry. Do not be surprised when you find yourself in the midst of a battle. For anyone whom I have chosen and anointed must walk through seasons of training. And what I am forging within you now is not outward glory, but inner strength, a faith refined by fire, a loyalty that does not waver, a steadfastness birthed from falling yet rising again for my sake. I am preparing you not merely to survive, but to lead, not merely to endure, but to conquer. Therefore, my beloved, rise up. Firmly reject every voice of fear. Renounce the authority of doubt. Deny the right of darkness to speak over your life, and declare with all your faith, my heart will not be afraid, for the Lord is my keeper. I will not retreat, for he goes before me. I am calling you closer. I am summoning you to rise. I am awakening within you a steadfastness you did not even know you possessed. For, my child, this is no longer a time for hesitation. This is the hour to act, to stand up as a warrior, to take hold of the spiritual weapons and step into your true role. A new era is coming, and you are a part of its unfolding. Do not let fear cause you to lag behind. Let my love burn away every doubt, and let my peace strengthen every step you take. My beloved child, today I do not come merely to comfort you, but to call you to stand, not in anger, but with tender urgency and deep love. For I know there have been many times before when I whispered this into your heart. There have been dreams, clear impressions, gentle yet meaningful signs, all meant to warn you of something specific. I did not speak harshly, for I desired that you would respond in love, not in fear. But now, my child, time is no longer limitless. This moment, this very hour, is the time for you to listen to me fully. No more delay, no more avoidance, no more excuses. You have come a long way. I have seen your efforts, your moments of gritted determination through trials. I cherish your faithfulness. I know every tear you have shed when no one else was watching. But at the same time, I also see something that still quietly holds you back, something that clings to you like a heavy anchor, preventing you from soaring as high as I have destined you to fly, something that latches onto your heart like an invisible yet persistent chain, keeping you from living fully in the freedom and abundance I have prepared for you. You know what it is. I do not need to name it, for deep within your soul, you have already felt it. It may be a relationship you know did not come from me, yet you have hesitated to let it go. It may be an old habit that you keep excusing by saying, I will change slowly, when in reality, you have not yet truly wanted to surrender it. It may be a deep wound you have been too afraid to face, and instead of seeking healing, you have buried it in silence, allowing it to slowly erode your faith and innocence. Or perhaps it is a promise you know I have spoken over you, yet you have not stepped into it out of fear of failure. Whatever it is, today I tell you this: you can no longer delay. You can no longer allow it to dwell in your heart without being brought into the light of truth. You can no longer let it occupy the space in your heart that belongs to me. You cannot simultaneously long for freedom while clinging to chains. You cannot cry out for miracles while holding on to what is blocking the flow of blessing. I do not say this to condemn you, but to save you, because you cannot enter the next chapter while the door to your present remains obstructed by hidden disobedience. You cannot taste the abundance I have prepared if you continue clutching what I have lovingly urged you to release. I love you too much to leave you living in the gray lands of compromise. I long to see you free, completely, wholly, and undivided, unclaimed by anything that does not belong to my kingdom. Be honest with me, my child. There is no need to hide anymore. You do not need to appear strong before me. I do not love a perfect version of you. I love you as you are, real, clumsy, fragile, still learning to obey. Give me what you have never dared to offer: your deepest fear, your oldest wound, the memory that aches the most. Lay it down at my feet. Cry if you must. Scream if your heart is breaking. Just do not hold on to it any longer, because when you cling to it, you carry a burden that was never meant to be yours. But when you surrender it, you will see a miracle unfold. I do not merely want you to let go. I want you to step in. Step into healing, into joy, into the lightness your soul has long hungered for. Step into the promised land, not someday, not later, but now. I have already prepared every good thing, but you must open your hands to receive it. You must lay down your burdens in order to soar. You must believe that the freedom I offer is real, tangible, and far closer than you have dared to believe. My beloved child, perhaps you have tried many times to push this matter aside, hoping that if you just ignored it long enough, it would eventually dissolve like passing rain. Perhaps you have thought that time itself would heal it, that circumstances would somehow change on their own, and that everything would return to how it once was, if only you kept living, kept working, kept moving, without touching the brokenness hidden inside you. But today, I want you to hear this clearly, from the very depths of my love for you. That is not the path to true restoration. That is not the road to freedom, nor the way that leads you to the place I desire to take you. You cannot step into the new season of your life, a season marked by renewal, by fulfilled promises, by joy and strength, while your heart remains bound to the old. That burden, no matter how well you have learned to hide it or convinced yourself it no longer matters, still weighs upon your soul every single day. It lingers like a shadow, following you even when the sun shines bright, and you know it. You feel it in every moment of stillness. Every time you close your eyes in the dark of night, it is still there, smoldering, heavy, and never truly gone. I am not speaking these words to discourage you, but to help you face the liberating truth. You cannot continue to live with a fractured heart and expect to reap a harvest full of fruit. You cannot carry unhealed wounds and hope to run steadily on the anointed path of your destiny. That which remains unresolved, whether a mistake from the past, a broken relationship, an unspoken disappointment, or a quiet doubt against me, is clouding your spiritual vision. It is hindering the flow of grace that I long to pour out abundantly over your life. You cannot harvest in the promised land while your hands still cling to the old things. to the broken pieces and ashes of a past season. You cannot fully grasp the new blessings if your heart is not yet willing to release what is wounding you. I cannot usher you into the next chapter while the previous page remains folded over by unresolved matters. I love you too much to allow you to live in mere survival when I have destined you for abundance. I do not want to see you walking among great opportunities with your head bowed under the weight you refuse to lay down. That is not the life I have prepared for you. Pause, my beloved. Do not continue forward with a shattered soul and a mind cluttered with what has not been purified. I am inviting you not merely to exist day by day, but to live deeply, to live authentically, and to live in the wholeness I intended for you from the beginning. The time has come for you to stop deceiving yourself by thinking everything will be fine while leaving it untouched. True healing never comes through avoidance. It comes through facing the truth in love. And I want you to know this. When you bravely open up that wounded place, I will not stand at a distance. I will step in, gently yet powerfully, not to judge you, but to embrace the deepest pain within you. I will not leave you empty in the act of surrender, but I will fill that place with my very presence. A presence that heals every wound, fills every emptiness, and restores what seemed lost forever. You have remained in the season of trial long enough. Now, I am calling you into a new season, but you cannot carry old baggage through a new door. I cannot allow you to enter the promised land with chains still wrapped around your feet. You must allow me to remove them, strand by strand, layer by layer, until you are truly light, free, and ready to receive the greater things I prepared for you before you were even born. Perhaps you fear what you might have to face. Perhaps you wonder what will come after you let go. But I promise you, an unfailing promise, that if you are brave enough to confront it, if you place it in my hands, what I will give back to you will far surpass what you tried to hold on to. I will grant you peace instead of turmoil, understanding instead of confusion, clarity instead of obscurity, and a joy that nothing and no one can take away. A true, deep, enduring joy, not dependent on any external circumstance. Come back, my child. Not back to the pain, but back to me, the one who has seen it all and yet still chooses to stay. The one who knows what you need more than you yourself understand. Trust that what you are clinging to, no matter how safe it may seem, is preventing you from walking through a door that has already been opened. And when you lay it down, when you lift your eyes, you will see, I am still here, with arms that never close, with a heart that never changes, and with a destiny that will never be revoked. Now, let go. Face it and step in, for a new season has come, and you are the one I have chosen to enter it with the full freedom, fullness, and beauty of a soul that has been redeemed. I have been waiting for you, always waiting, and I will not cease calling your name until your heart responds. For I, the one who loves you with an everlasting love, will never grow weary of restoring you back to yourself, as you were originally shaped in the light of creation. What I am asking you to confront is not a minor detail in your life's journey, not a fleeting worry, nor a burden that time alone can heal. This is a profound matter, something that has taken root deep within your soul, affecting the way you think, the way you love, the way you trust, and the way you live. It is no longer merely an emotional issue. It is something quietly fracturing the integrity of your being, preventing you from stepping into the fullness and glory I have destined for your life. Perhaps it stems from a relationship that you know has veered from the truth, a connection that has broken, but that you still desperately cling to out of fear of loss or emptiness. Or perhaps it is an important decision you keep postponing because you are afraid that if you choose wrongly, everything will collapse. It may even be a dream I planted in your heart long ago, yet you have never dared to fully reach for it, because every time you come close, the memory of past failure stings you and pulls you back. Or it could be something simpler. A fear of being hurt, fear of being unloved, fear that if you truly let go and trust, the worst will happen. I know, because I have been there in every one of those moments. I have seen you turn away from the invitations I extended simply because you could not silence the voice of fear within you. I have seen you try to appear normal while inside your soul was a land quietly burning for lack of rescue. And I have not come to shame you. I do not point this out to accuse you of weakness or delay. I come to reveal my mercy, to lead you out of the shadowed land you thought you had to settle in forever. Because, my beloved, the time has come, not tomorrow, not when everything becomes favorable, not when you feel ready by your own standards, but now, right now, when you hear my voice, when you feel that stirring deep within, when your tears fall because you know I am touching the very place in you that most needs healing. I am not asking you to untangle everything yourself. I am not requiring you to understand every next step. I am simply inviting you to surrender, to place it into my hands, to lay down the burden you have carried for far too long. Whether it is a silent ache or a crushing weight, whether it is bitterness or self-condemnation, whether it is a broken dream or a forgotten promise, I am ready to take it, to exchange it for your freedom, your healing, and your restoration. You do not need to understand it all to trust me. You only need to believe that my love never fails. Let me be the place where you anchor your trust, for I have never lost a soul that truly entrusted itself to me. What you surrender in tears, I will tend with all of heaven. What you relinquish in trembling, I will replace with what cannot be shaken. What you think is loss, I will turn into victory. You only need to believe. Only dare to loosen your grip. Only dare to open your mouth and say, Lord, I surrender this to you. Do you know, the healing you are waiting for is not hidden in the future days ahead. It is wrapped within the decision you make in this very moment. When you choose to let go, not out of despair, but out of trust. When you choose to end, not out of exhaustion, but out of obedience. When you say, enough, not from weakness, but from the deep knowing that I have something better for you. That is when every miracle begins. That is when the fresh waters from heaven will pour over your dry and thirsty soul. That is when the door I have been holding open will no longer be blocked by the heavy burdens you no longer carry. My beloved child, I have not come to take away, I have come to give. Not half-hearted comfort, but deep healing. Not distant promises, but a living reality. Not a fleeting life, but a destiny intricately designed for you long before you were formed in your mother's womb. Yet that destiny requires a heart set free, a soul no longer ruled by unhealed wounds or lingering fears. and I know you are brave enough to do this. You have come farther than you realize. You have endured more steadfastly than you think, and now you are just one step away, the step of complete trust. Step out of the old and step toward me. Do not look back. Do not listen to the whispers of doubt any longer. Fix your eyes on me and see that I have never left you. I am still here, arms outstretched, still waiting, still calling you closer. For now is the time for you to live lightly. Now is the time for you to be healed. Now is the time for you to step into a new chapter. Free from burdens, free from fear, filled only with the deep peace and unfailing love I have reserved for you. And you will not merely survive, you will live. You know well what I am speaking of. It is not foreign to you, not vague. It is the very thing your heart has been quietly wrestling with. The thing I have whispered into your mind in the stillness of many nights. I have not come to wound you, but to rescue you from the silent whirlpool that has been slowly pulling at your soul day by day. Therefore, I say this again, with urgency and with deep, abiding love. It is time to face it. It is time to stop evading and to begin the journey of liberation with a single, courageous step. You may have prayed for healing, begged for change, pleaded for restoration. But, my child, I cannot renew what you are still clinging to with closed fists. I cannot bestow peace while you are holding fear as if it were an inseparable part of your being. I am the one who can make all things new. I have the power to restore what seems decayed beyond hope. I can breathe life into what you thought was dead, but I will not cross the threshold that you are unwilling to open. Restoration does not begin when you see everything clearly. It begins when you dare to walk forward into the fog, believing that I am holding your hand. This is not a voice of reproach, but a bell of awakening sounding from my heart. Do not wait until circumstances force you to change. Do not wait until what you are clinging to has shattered completely before you surrender. Do not let the murkiness of doubt rob you of the light I am shining forth. Delay is the silent enemy of transformation. Hesitation does not come from the Spirit. It comes from the realm that wishes to keep you frozen, where you are neither truly alive nor entirely dead. I am calling you, not to step out aimlessly, but to step into the loving plan I have crafted uniquely for you. I know you are afraid. I see your heart tremble at the thought of letting go of something familiar, even if it has been wounding you. But my dear one, nothing you are holding on to is worth more than the freedom I am bringing. Nothing you lose by walking with me will ever exceed what I will give in return. It will always be greater, deeper, and infinitely more healing. Trust me, my beloved. Trust not only in what I have promised, but also in the timing I am now appointing for you. I know the perfect time far better than anyone. When I say that the time has come, it is not merely advice. It is a divine invitation, a heavenly window opened for a spiritual act that must be embraced. When I speak, heaven itself is poised to move with you. Every spiritual resource, every angelic assistance, every necessary intervention will be set into motion as you step forward in obedience. You were not created to live a half-hearted life. You were not designed to walk wearily through uncertain paths. You were made to reveal my glory, to become a living testimony of transforming love. Yet you cannot fully embody this calling while still harboring remnants of the old within your heart. You cannot overflow if your vessel remains filled with the sediments of what was never meant to stay. You cannot soar if your wings are weighed down by burdens that do not come from me. I see you, struggling beneath the invisible undercurrents of worry and insecurity. I see every moment you wrestle with the whispering doubts, with the imprints of past failures etched into your memory, with doors to the future that seem forever locked. You have tried, you have fought, yet something unseen still pulls you back, holding you from stepping forward. My beloved, I know it is not because you are weak. It is because you have been surrounded by false voices that do not come from me. Your enemy, the one who has prowled since the beginning, has relentlessly sown fear like a toxic mist, seeking to cloud your vision, to disturb your heart, and to make you forget the truth, that you are the one I have chosen, the one I have covered, the one to whom I have given a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and sound judgment. You were not created to be bound by fear. You were created to conquer, to stand firm, to overcome, and to walk boldly in the glorious light I have set before you. I did not give you a spirit that shrinks back at danger or retreats when trials arise. On the contrary, I have placed within you the spirit of a holy warrior, a soul forged in the furnace of trials to emerge resilient and strong, a heart that loves even in the face of wounds, and a mind that remains clear even amid the chaos of life. Do you realize this? What trembles inside you today is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that victory is near. For when fear rises, it only proves one thing. The enemy trembles at what I am about to accomplish through you. Fear is not merely a fleeting emotion. It is a tactic, a cunning strategy designed to turn you away from your destiny. It whispers that you are not enough, that you will surely fail, that I will not arrive in time. But listen to me, fear is a lie, and truth is always stronger than any lie. I am the one who is never late. I am the one who never breaks a promise. And if I have planted a dream within your heart, then I have already prepared every provision necessary for you to fulfill it. Do not allow fear to make you a prisoner within your own journey. Do not let it steal this moment, the moment where you could take one small, powerful step toward the destiny I wrote your name into before the foundation of the world. Remember, the key to breaking the chains of fear is not to feel brave enough, but simply to decide to believe. Believe that I am greater than every storm. Believe that my love is enough to soothe every wound. Believe that my power is not just a story in ancient texts, but a living force, ready to be activated in your life. Right now, right in the very circumstances you are facing. If you knew who you are in me, you would never bow your head to fear again. If you realized that you carry the very lineage of heaven within you, where darkness has no power to overcome the light, you would understand. You are not small. You are not helpless. You are not alone. You are not merely someone struggling through life. You are one who has been sent, equipped, and taught daily by my mighty Spirit, who leads you step by step into the fullness of your divine call. And my child, remember this: every time you choose to trust me instead of trusting in fear, a spiritual battle is won. Every time you open your mouth and declare life instead of death, eternal light shines into places that once seemed beyond redemption. Every small act of faith reverberates through the spiritual realm and shakes the very heavens. Do not underestimate your seemingly small steps, because when you walk by faith, even trembling, you are stirring up all of hell. Therefore, if you find yourself standing at the threshold of something new, a calling, an unfamiliar path, a door that seems too vast to open, this is the moment to lift your head and step forward. Not by your own strength, but by the faith you place in me. Entrusting your heart fully to me is the key that unlocks the gateway to victory. It is not merely an action, but a heavenly exchange. You surrender fear, and I give you peace. You release your anxious calculations, and I place divine strategies into your hands. You reject doubt, and I grant you unshakable steadfastness from heaven. Let today be the day you say enough to fear. Let today be the day you rise up and declare that you are no longer bound by anything that does not come from me. You were not born to shrink back. You were born to shine, to walk boldly, to reveal the image of the one who created you. Within you is life, glory, and resurrection power, beating with every pulse of your soul. I know you may still tremble, but remember this: I do not need you to be perfect, only willing. I do not require you to be fearless. I only desire that you choose not to surrender to fear. And when you do this, all of heaven stands with you. For when one dares to trust me more than their fear, a destiny begins to be unlocked. And that destiny, my beloved one, is waiting for you to step into it. My beloved child, what I long for from you is not perfection according to the standards of this world, but a heart that acknowledges me in every step you take. Whether they are light and easy steps across peaceful meadows or trembling strides along rugged mountainsides, when you choose to fix your gaze upon me, when you cease relying on your limited understanding and begin seeking me in every decision and every turn, then you will experience a wonder known only to surrendered souls. The tender yet mighty guidance of my hand, straightening the crooked paths of your life, and opening roads you never dared to imagine. I do not promise that the journey will always be smooth, but I promise that your heart will be steadfast amidst the fiercest storms if you allow me to walk beside you. There are paths that appear bright and promising under the glittering lights of opportunity, yet lead only to dead ends. And there are narrow, scarcely traveled ways that lead to abundant life and sacred destiny. This is why I call you to listen for my voice, to let me guide you, not merely toward a reasonable path, but toward the one tailor-made for your soul. A journey woven with love and heaven's divine purpose. Know this: when you walk with me, you are not only walking the right way, but you are being preserved from dangers your eyes cannot yet see. I guard you from unseen snares of the enemy, from misguided relationships, and from choices that appear wise but end in barren wastelands. And more than that, I do not only guard your steps, but I also watch over your mind. When your thoughts are besieged by anxiety, by echoes of the past, or by fearful assumptions about the future, I will come to you like a cool breeze in the heat of summer. I will speak to you with a voice that is both gentle and full of authority. My peace I give to you. And that peace will not come from your circumstances, but from my very presence living within you. Perhaps no one has ever taught you how to listen to me. Perhaps you have grown accustomed to living by instinct, by reason, or even by fleeting emotions. But I long for you to learn something new, a profound spiritual art, the art of pausing and asking me, Lord, which way should I go? What is your will? Not because I require you to do everything perfectly before I love you, but because I love you so deeply that I do not want you to pay the price for choices made from the narrow view of human understanding. I desire to lead you to a place where my presence is not merely a concept, but a living, breathing reality experienced every single day. In that place, you will find that even when the world trembles and the future remains uncertain, your heart will be enveloped in a peace that surpasses all understanding. And you will not stop at peace alone. As you walk with me, you will be strengthened by a power that the world cannot give, a strength that flows directly from my spirit. It is not the strength to force yourself to be brave or to pretend you are strong. It is the strength to remain standing when everything around you shakes, the strength to forgive when you are wounded, the strength to love when you are rejected, the strength to keep believing when all seems silent, the strength to rise when you stumble, and the strength to press forward when others give up. This strength does not come from your striving, but from your surrender. Your willingness to fall into my arms and let me accomplish what only I can do. Imagine your life as a small boat upon the vast ocean. When you try to steer it by your own understanding, the waves will toss you about. But when you place the wheel into my hands, I do not promise a life free of storms, but I do promise you will never sink. And it is in the very waves that seem strong enough to overwhelm you that you will discover the wonder of my steadfast hand, my understanding heart, and my plans that are always crafted for your eternal good. Therefore, my beloved one, do not seek me only in solemn hours or formal ceremonies. Recognize me in the ordinary moments, when you are preparing a meal, when you are commuting to work, when you sit in the quiet with questions yet unanswered. I am there, waiting for you to open your heart. A single whisper, Lord, please lead me, is enough to move my hand. It is enough to turn a burdened day into a meaningful one. It is enough to part the waves of anxiety and reveal a new horizon of hope. And dearest child, when your steps begin to tremble at the threshold of the unknown, when your mind becomes clouded by the fog of doubt, that is the very moment to pause and return to what is unchanging. The everlasting promises I have spoken over your life. You may not always feel my presence, but that does not mean I am absent. You may not see the future clearly, but that does not mean your future is not firmly held within my hands. Every word I have ever spoken, every promise I have ever breathed forth, remains a firm foundation for your soul amid life's relentless upheavals. Engrave this upon your heart. Fear has no rightful place where my promises are remembered and trusted. Fear may roar like a mighty wind, but if your heart is anchored to what I have declared, you will not be moved. I have spoken that I am your keeper, that I will never leave you, that I will guide you through the darkness into fields of light. These are not merely beautiful words, they are living truth, a divine power that can revive the weary soul and steady the trembling heart with a renewed, unshakable beat. My beloved child, whenever your heart feels unsettled, close your eyes and let it quiet itself like a still, peaceful lake. In that moment, whisper to your own soul, He has promised. Let those words echo within you like a sweet melody, dissolving every worry. I have promised to be your steadfast refuge when the storms of life arise. I have promised to feed your soul, to provide for every need even before you can utter it, and to be the Father who never sleeps, who watches over you both in your dreams and in your waking hours. Everything you need does not rest upon your own striving, but upon trust in the one who has never broken a promise. And when you feel as if you are sinking into the darkness of doubt, when fear screams in your mind as though it holds the right to overwhelm you, that is precisely when you must remember the victories I have granted you in the past. Let the memories of my faithfulness become the flame that lights your path. You once stood at the edge of despair, and I carried you through. You once found yourself trapped in places with no way out, yet I opened a door. You once wept alone, and I was the one who wiped your tears away with an invisible, loving hand. So why, beloved, would you doubt that I will do it again? My child, the enemy desires you to forget. He wants to blur your memories of my goodness, to plunge you into panic and convince you that you have been abandoned. But the truth is this: I have never left. I have never fallen silent. I am waiting for you to remember, waiting for you to reopen the worn pages of Scripture, waiting for you to allow my words to breathe again within your heart like new life. Every promise I have given is still alive. They have not faded with time. They have not grown weary with the passing years. They remain powerful, vibrant, and are simply waiting for a heart of trust to cause them to blossom into miracles. Learn to speak to your soul when fear approaches. I know the one in whom I have believed. He is faithful. He does not change. When you do this, you are not only reminding yourself, you are pushing back the darkness. Fear cannot linger where the light of my word shines. My promises are not meant to be displayed like ornaments. They are weapons for battle. They are not written merely to be read, but to be declared, to be lived out, to give you the confidence of one who knows they are shielded by the heavens. If today your heart feels weary, if you feel you have no strength left to continue, do not push yourself harder. Instead, stop and embrace a single promise. Just one is enough. Close your eyes and whisper, Lord, you have promised to be with me. Then wait. In that silence, you will hear my voice, not always loud, but always clear, not always emotional, but always certain, and you will find a stream of living water flowing back into your parched soul, a new breath reviving what seemed lifeless. It all begins with a simple act: believing in my word. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to remember that I am faithful. And when you shift your focus from what is happening around you to what I have spoken over you, it is in that very moment that you will find yourself standing again, not by your own strength, but by the grace rekindled through remembering my promises. Therefore, my beloved child, do not let a single day pass without feeding your soul with my word. Do not allow my promises to sit quietly upon the page. Let them live in the beating of your heart, in the secret thoughts of your mind, and in every decision you make. For when you do so, you are not only walking under my protection, you are stepping into a life not ruled by fear, but led by faith, and by the unchanging love of the one who chose you from before the foundation of the world. When you find yourself standing at the crossroads of life, when before you lie glittering paths filled with countless unknowns, and behind you are tangled memories yet to be healed, that is the very moment when I gently lean in and whisper into your soul. Return and seek me in prayer. I do not call you to walk through the darkness alone. I do not ask you to grope your way through a maze of uncertain choices. I invite you to come to me with empty hands and a sincere heart, to say, Lord, please show me the way. Grant me wisdom beyond my shallow understanding. Wisdom is not something you must strive for or barter to obtain. I do not dispense it sparingly, as though it were a prize reserved only for the most deserving. No, my child, I am the one who gives generously, without reproach and without hesitation. All you need to do is come and ask. All that is required is a heart humble enough to confess, I do not know what to do. I need you. In that very instant, a stream of light from heaven will begin to illuminate your mind, driving away the darkness of confusion and opening doors you never even knew existed. Fear often arises not because the circumstances are too great, but because the heart is too empty, empty of direction, empty of trust. When you do not know what to do next, when every plan you had built crumbles before your eyes, the enemy is quick to sow lies into your heart, whispering, you are lost, you are not wise enough, you will fail. But my child, that is not my voice. My voice always carries a gentleness clothed in authority, and within every word I speak, there is always an invitation. Ask me for wisdom. You do not need to see the entire road to begin walking. You only need enough light for the next step. And that light is my wisdom. A clarity that does not come from mere intellect, but from the living relationship between you and me. When you pray, you are not merely speaking your heart, you are opening yourself to receive a new current of insight, a divine flow that can see beyond what human eyes can perceive. I will not leave you fumbling in uncertainty. I will take your hand and, little by little, guide you through each decision, each turning season, each crucial choice of your life. You may have thought that only the strong, only the capable and intelligent are clearly guided. But I tell you, wisdom does not come to those who consider themselves sufficient. It comes to those who recognize their lack and come to me with a broken and contrite heart. When you ask for wisdom, you are expressing a deep faith that you believe not only that I am all-powerful, but that I also desire and will personally guide you with tenderness and precision. I see the nights you lie awake, not from physical pain, but from the weight of not knowing what decision to make for tomorrow. I hear your whispered cries in the dark. What should I do, Lord? And I want you to know, not a single prayer born in your tears is forgotten. Not a single moment of your confusion is too small for my concern. I hear every sigh and treasure every prayer as precious pearls, and in the appointed time, I will answer, not always in the way you expect, but always in the way that brings life, freedom, and peace. Learn to be patient in prayer, for wisdom does not always come like a lightning strike. More often, it arrives like the dawn, gradual, gentle, yet unstoppable. When you take the time to be still before me, when you set aside all busyness, all noise, and simply seek me, it is in that silence that I will sow into your heart a clarity that surpasses human reasoning. It is the kind of wisdom that enables you to make decisions unclouded by fleeting emotions. It is the kind of wisdom that helps you discern between the voice of truth and the voice of temptation. It is the kind of wisdom that steadies your soul even when the world around you trembles in fear, because you will know you are walking the right path. And you will see, day by day, as you ask and are given, that this wisdom will become the sacred compass, guiding you through the densest forests of life. You will no longer walk with fear, but with unwavering certainty, because you know the one who is directing your path never makes a mistake. Therefore, my beloved child, do not hesitate to say to me, Lord, teach me, open my eyes, grant me heavenly wisdom, for I will not ignore you. I will give to you without reservation, without delay, and then you will see, it is in your weakness that I have raised up a strong one. It is in your confusion that I have opened a new way, and it is in your small, humble prayers that I have begun writing a new chapter of miracles in your life. And now, my beloved child, I call you to rise. Do not let your soul slumber any longer in the land of hesitation. Do not allow the lines of indecision to imprison you from the promised land I have prepared. There are blessings I have long set in place, doors already slightly ajar, waiting only for you to step forward and lay hold of them. But to touch them, you must move. You must dare to leave the safe ground where you think you are in control and enter the territory where only faith can uphold you. I know there are days when everything seems too vast to bear. You look ahead and see only walls, towering mountains, and whispers in your mind telling you, you are not ready, you are not good enough, you will fail. But, my child, those are not my words. They are the echoes of your past trying to chain you, the voice of fear lurking near, the murmur of doubt vying for your heart. I want you to know this. Faith does not require you to see everything clearly. It only asks you to believe enough to take the next step. Believing that I am already there, waiting for you with open arms and a heart full of love. Awaken the faith within you, not a weary faith battered by trials, but a faith that has been refined, that has stumbled and risen again, that has wrestled with doubt but chosen to believe. A faith stronger than emotion, deeper than reason, and fierce enough to drive away all confusion. Let this faith become the flame within your soul, lighting your path in the dark, warming you when the chill of despair creeps in, and illuminating every purpose I have destined for your life. When you open the door and step out, do not step timidly, but walk forward as a rightful heir entering your own inheritance, steadfast, confident, and full of hope. Hold in your mind the posture of a victor, for I have placed a crown of glory upon your head since before the foundation of the world. You do not fight to earn my love. You fight from a place of already being loved, already chosen, already empowered by the authority of heaven. All that I have prepared for you does not lie behind an impenetrable wall, but within the reach of a heart that dares to believe, to move forward, and to receive. Do not let your mind wander in search of reasons to delay. Do not seek out excuses to justify standing still, for in truth there is no reason worthy enough for you to reject the future I have already given. What you need is not perfection, but courage to begin. Not absolute certainty, but a small faith, willing to say, Lord, I will step forward even though my heart still trembles. You do not need to know everything. You only need to know that I am faithful and I never lead astray. I see the silent struggle within your mind, the tension between your desire to move forward and the fear of what might happen if you fail. But my beloved, in my kingdom failure does not define you. The only thing that defines you is the love I have for you and the unshakable plan I have placed upon your life. Do not let a stumble from your past convince you that you cannot rise again. Do not allow a single negative word spoken by others to cause you to doubt your worth. Those things do not reflect the truth. Only I have the authority to define you, and I call you beloved, chosen, and sent forth to shine amidst a darkened world. Therefore, be strong, be courageous. Let your heart awaken to a profound awareness that there are doors which will never fully open until you place your hand upon the handle and turn it by faith. Let your every step declare, I believe goodness lies ahead, and as you walk forward, you will begin to see barriers that once seemed immovable crumbling before the power of your faith. Twists and turns that once obscured your vision unfolding into a wide and open path, and situations that once appeared hopeless overflowing with the surprising grace of my hand. I am not merely giving you a new beginning. I am giving you a new soul, a renewed mind, and a vision that transcends every boundary you once knew. You are not simply stepping into a new season. You are entering into a divine frequency where everything partnered with me will yield fruitfulness, growth, and brilliance. For when you step out of the realm of comfort and into the realm of obedience, all of heaven moves to back you up. I will soften that which seemed sealed shut. I will cause arms once closed in resistance to stretch out in support. And I will astonish even you as the new creation within you awakens and rises. So do not hesitate any longer, my beloved. Do not let the whispers of fear drown out the call from heaven. Do not allow your gaze to stop at the visible limits of the natural eye, but lift your vision higher to where I stand with open arms, inviting you into a wondrous journey. Stir up the flame of faith within you. Stand up, step out, and be ready to embrace all the goodness I have prepared, not just for today, but for your eternal future. Therefore, my precious child, ready your mind, your spirit, and your heart. For this is a pivotal moment, a sacred hour in which the door to the harvest season has swung wide open before you. This is not merely a symbolic announcement. It is a resounding call from the heights of heaven, reserved specifically for you, the one who has remained faithful through countless seasons of waiting, the one who did not turn away even when silence seemed to fill the air, the one who held tightly to faith even when darkness loomed ahead. The harvest you prayed for, the harvest you sowed with tears, with whispered prayers each night, with quiet decisions to reject temptation and guard the purity of your heart. It is now coming. Walk forward, my child, not with the weary posture of one barely surviving a battle, but with the radiant heart of a harvester entering the golden fields of heaven. Let your soul breathe in the sweet fragrance of the new season, not the scent of earthly fruits, but the affirmation of promises I whispered to you in stillness. That fragrance is the sign that your faithfulness has not been forgotten, that the seeds you planted during seasons of drought are now springing forth, and that the tears you shed in hidden places have been watering an entire field of blessings ready to bloom. Do you hear the earth whispering beneath your feet? It is not the echo of barrenness. It is the invitation of soil that has been prepared, a land offering its abundant yield to the hands of the one who has been called. You are not a stranger stepping into a season of abundance that does not belong to you. You are the rightful heir to this sacred harvest. You have been chosen to gather the fruit. You have been destined to reap what I myself have sown into your life. Do not doubt any longer. Do not believe that goodness is reserved only for others. Stand firm in the certainty that you are an essential part of my grand design, an irreplaceable link in the chain of my benevolent will. And so that you would not falter under the weight of blessings about to be poured out, I will be the one who strengthens your hands. I will grant you a strength that does not arise from the flesh, but from the eternal source. You will find yourself stronger than in days past, not because you grow less weary, but because I am bearing the burden with you. You will be lifted above the invisible assaults that once caused you to stagger. I will set you upon a firm rock, and from that vantage point, you will see the entire field I have ordained for you to cultivate, to govern, and to harvest. Lack will no longer be your portion. The days of counting every small thing, every last drop of oil, every final crumb of bread will no longer define your reality. I will sweep away scarcity by opening new streams, the streams of creativity, of ideas gifted from heaven, of opportunities you could never manufacture by your own strength, but that flow from my goodness alone. You will no longer live in the mindset of surviving from one small miracle to the next, but you will live as one who receives wave after wave of overflowing blessing, enough to live, enough to share, and enough to make others see the steadfastness of my faithfulness. But to receive all of this, your heart must be ready. Do not stand idle waiting for the blast of a trumpet. The harvest does not begin with outward clamor. It begins with the quiet obedience within. I am calling you to be courageous, not only in seasons of battle, but also in seasons of receiving. For paradoxically, many are bold in suffering, yet hesitant in prosperity. You are not meant to be among them. You will not fear the blessing. You will not reject what I have prepared for you out of a sense of unworthiness. Receive it. Embrace it. Possess it by faith, with gratitude, and with a readiness to pour it back into the world. Continue to stand firm, even as you are still learning to adapt to this new season. Be diligent in the small things, for it is faithfulness in these first steps that will lead you into greater responsibilities. Do not think that blessing is the place to rest. Blessing is the beginning of a wider influence, a sacred role that you must prepare your heart to carry with love and discernment. That is why I have trained you through many seasons. That is why I allowed you to walk through shadowed corridors. Not to punish you, but to refine you. Not to take from you, but to ready you for something far greater than you had dared to dream. And now, my beloved child, in the midst of the brilliant days ahead, I earnestly invite you to listen to my voice with a heart fully awake. For there is one thing you must carve deeply into your soul, a warning born of my profound love. Do not let your heart be entangled in the pathways of those who refuse my divine calling. Do not follow the footsteps of those who have turned their backs on the light, who have chosen ease, temporary pleasures, and emptiness over me, over the one who is the source of life, the way, and the truth. I do not speak these words to sow fear in your heart, but so that you may recognize that in every season of harvest, there is an invisible battle taking place. It is the battle between light and darkness, between faithfulness and distraction, between those who are called and those who are absorbed by the noise of this world. There have been souls once invited as you are now, but they allowed meaningless busyness, worldly ambitions, and misguided voices to drown out my calling. They became entangled in pursuits that bore no fruit, and when the drought came, they blamed me instead of looking within themselves. They did not realize that it was their own turning away, their own hardened hearts, that blocked my blessings from flowing into their lives, like a river dammed by the invisible hand of unbelief. And sadly, they do not merely reject their own destiny, they carried within themselves a bitterness, seeking to plant seeds of doubt among those who still walk in the light. They became like unseen shadows that linger around the faithful, not to accompany them, but to lead them astray. They do not rejoice when others are rewarded, for their hearts are filled with envy and unresolved discontent. Be watchful, my child. Do not let words veiled in false wisdom pull you away from the land of faith. Do not allow relationships not woven with truth and divine love to infiltrate the field where I am planting your harvest. My beloved, guard your field, not only with diligent hands, but with a discerning heart. Do not let anyone step into the land of your blessing unless they have been sent by me. Some may come with a smile, but carry barrenness within. Some may speak sweet words, but their spirits are wastelands. They come not to cultivate your harvest, but to distract, to slow doubt, and to slow your steps. Learn to discern these through the light of the Holy Spirit. Ask me, and I will reveal to you who must be kept at a distance, and who I have sent to strengthen you. You must understand this. Not everyone rejoices when they see your blossoming. Not everyone carries the spirit of the harvester. Some, having squandered their own sowing seasons, now seek to disrupt the harvests of others. They spent their time chasing fleeting pleasures and wandering journeys without light. And when their hearts grew empty, they searched for someone else to blame, someone to pull down with them. But I say to you today, do not let your kindness become a doorway for darkness to enter. Maintain your sacred boundaries. Guard your soul as a watchman protects a treasure, for within you dwells a portion of my eternal plan that cannot be stolen. And do not fall into the trap of blind compassion. You may love, but do not let your love become an open gate for compromise. You may intercede, but do not abandon obedience out of misplaced mercy. I call you to walk with a tender heart, yet a sharp spirit. Be a bearer of light, but also one who knows how to say no when necessary. Sometimes the greatest courage lies not in accepting everyone, but in rejecting that which was not sent by me. You belong to me. You are appointed for a harvest unlike any other. You are chosen to bear everlasting fruit and to impact generations yet unborn. Therefore you cannot live like those who do not know to whom they belong. Keep your faithfulness. Keep your discipline. Keep your humility. Do not let the lost souls dim the light I have kindled within you with my own blood. Do not let a lack of vigilance cause you to lose the field you have toiled through many seasons to gain. And now, my beloved child, come closer still. With a heart laid bare, unashamed and unafraid, bring to me all the deepest desires hidden within your heart, even those you once thought too grand to dare to ask or too small to be noticed. For to me, nothing within your heart is trivial. Every dream you carry, every unspoken longing is treasured by me like precious jewels, hidden within the heart of a loving Father. Do not be afraid to draw near to me. Do not let the mistakes of your past or the wounds that have yet to heal convince you that you must first prove yourself worthy before you can dare to ask. Do you not know? if I did not withhold even my beloved only Son, the one who is without blemish, without fault, the perfect light of heaven, but was willing to give him up for you, then what good thing would I ever withhold from you? What blessing would I ever be reluctant to grant you along with him? My love for you is not measured by your achievements. My grace is not limited by any notion of deserving. It is all because I love you with a love that is unconditional, unchanging, and utterly unbreakable. Today, yes, today, is a sacred moment, a milestone forever etched into the timeline of your life. This is not an ordinary day. This is the day when I move my hand in a clear and undeniable way. It is the day when miracles are not only promised, but manifested. It is the day when the things you thought had been delayed indefinitely will begin to shift. It is the day when you will open your mouth, not to complain, but to declare victory, not by your own strength, but by the great power of me, the one who has never been defeated. You have carried many burdens that weighed heavily on your soul. There have been nights when you could not sleep, not because your body ached, but because your heart was tormented by worry and fear. There have been illnesses that imprisoned not only your body but also your dreams, leaving you weary not just in flesh but in spirit. But today I say to you, no more. No more bondage. No more burden. No sickness shall hold dominion over you any longer. My name, the name above every name, will cause every wayward cell to return to divine order. Every chaos in your body will bow down and retreat. New life will flow into you, and peace will be restored. You will no longer merely survive. You will live fully, vibrantly, gloriously, just as I intended for you from the very beginning. Not only will your body be healed, but your soul shall also be set free. Those spirits that came to agitate you, to sow confusion, to dim the light within your life, they will find no place to linger. I have heard your silent cries, those moments when you could not understand why you were surrounded by conflicts, criticisms, and disruptions. But today I act on your behalf. My name is a mighty tower, and those who run to me will be safe. From this day forward, the enemy must retreat. My presence will encompass you like a wall of fire that cannot be breached, and spirits not sent by me will be forced to flee. Moreover, I will even touch the areas you thought were impossible to change. Your family, the relationships you poured your heart into but only received hurt in return, the instability that seemed permanent and unhealable. All these are within the reach of my restoration. You have prayed, you have waited, and at times you have felt tempted to give up. But today I speak to you. From this very moment the change begins. I will soften hardened hearts. I will restore lost compassion. I will grant you new eyes to see the good, and new ears to hear the voice of love amid the noise. Not one of your prayers for your family has been overlooked. Every whisper, every tearful groan has been recorded before me as a profound declaration of faith. And concerning your finances, where you have struggled, counted every penny, and planned every step with caution, I will open the storehouses of heaven in ways you have not yet imagined. But remember this: wealth is not the ultimate reward. Wealth is a tool. And as you obey me, I will give you not only resources, but also the wisdom to steward them rightly. I will bless you not merely with abundance, but with purposeful prosperity. I will lead you not just out of lack, but into the life of a giver, one chosen by me, to be an outstretched hand of love and light in a world still shrouded in much darkness. Engrave this truth deeply within your heart. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter of healing, a chapter of miracles, a chapter where doors swing open wide, a chapter filled with clear answers and undeniable victories. Yet it does not begin when circumstances change. It begins the moment you dare to believe that I am moving, right now, right here, within your present situation, and within the very heart that is reading these words. And now, my beloved child, draw even closer, with a heart unveiled, unashamed, and unafraid. Bring to me every hidden desire that stirs within you, even those you once thought too grand to dare ask for, or too small to warrant my attention. For to me, nothing within your heart is insignificant. Every dream you hold, every whispered longing you have yet to utter, I treasure like precious gems hidden deep within the loving heart of your Father. Do not hesitate to come near to me. Do not let past mistakes or unhealed wounds make you think you must first be worthy before you can ask. Do you not know? If I did not withhold my very own beloved Son, pure, flawless, the perfect light of heaven, but willingly gave him for you, what good thing would I ever withhold? What blessing would I ever deny you along with him? My love for you is not measured by your achievements. My grace is not confined by any notion of deserving. It is simply because I love you, with a love that is unconditional, unchanging, and utterly unbreakable. Today, yes, this very day, is a sacred moment, a divine marker carved into the timeline of your life. This is not an ordinary day. This is the day I move clearly on your behalf. The day miracles are not just promised, but manifested. The day that what seemed forever delayed will begin to stir and shift. The day your mouth will open not to murmur, but to declare victory, not by your own strength, but by the mighty power of me, the one who has never lost a battle. You have walked through many seasons that weighed heavily upon your soul. There have been nights when you could not sleep, not because your body ached, but because your heart was tormented by worry and fear. There have been illnesses that not only chained your body, but imprisoned your dreams, leaving you weary in both body and spirit. But today I declare to you, no more. No more bondage. No sickness shall have dominion over you. My name, the name above all names, will command every rogue cell back into divine order. Every chaos within your body will bow and flee. New life will flood into you, and peace will be restored. You will no longer merely survive. You will live fully, vibrantly, and gloriously, just as I intended from the beginning. Not only will your body be healed, but your soul shall be set free. The spirits that once came to stir confusion, to cloud your mind, to dim the light within you, they will find no foothold. I have heard your silent cries, those moments when you could not understand why trouble encircled you, why conflict arose from every side, why criticism wounded you from those you trusted. But today, I stretch forth my hand. My name is a mighty strong tower, and all who run to me shall find refuge. From this day forward, the enemy will retreat. My presence will surround you like a wall of fire, impenetrable, and every spirit not sent by me will be forced to flee. Not only that, but I am also reaching into the very areas you once thought were unchangeable. Your family, the relationships you once guarded with all your heart but seemed to only bring you pain, the fractures that appeared too deep to ever mend, all of these are not beyond my power to restore. You have prayed, you have waited, and at times you have felt like letting go. But today I tell you, from this very moment, change begins. I will soften hardened hearts. I will restore lost compassion. I will give you new eyes to see the goodness still present, and new ears to hear the voice of love amidst the chaos. I have not overlooked a single prayer you have lifted up for your family. Every whispered word, every tear-stained cry has been recorded in my heart as a declaration of your faith. And concerning your finances, where you have wrestled, counted every coin, planned every uncertain step, I will open the storehouses of heaven in ways you have not yet imagined. But remember this: wealth is not the reward itself. Wealth is a tool. And as you walk in obedience to me, I will grant you not only the resources, but the wisdom to use them rightly. I will give you not just abundance, but purposeful prosperity. I will lead you not merely out of lack, but into a life of generosity, a life where you become my chosen vessel, extending my love and light into a world still cloaked in darkness. Engrave this truth upon your heart. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter of healing, a chapter of miracles, a chapter of open doors, a chapter of clear answers and undeniable victories. Yet it does not begin when your circumstances change. It begins the moment you dare to believe that I am already working. Right now, in this very moment, in the very heart that is reading these words, my beloved child, come closer still. Closer to the place where my presence is not merely a gentle breeze brushing against your skin, but a mighty waterfall cascading through your entire being, cleansing and reviving you without end. It is within this sacred space, where you breathe the atmosphere of holiness and love, that you will find what your heart has longed for: true restoration, not temporary, not fleeting, not a mere momentary comfort that soon fades, but a deep, lasting renewal. Layer by layer, part by part, silently but surely, unfolding in your soul, your body, and your mind. When you allow me to dwell fully within you, when you offer me not just hurried minutes squeezed into your busy day, but true undivided attention, you will begin to notice something miraculous. The very atmosphere around you will start to change, not because the outside world has suddenly become perfect, but because within you, a profound purification is taking place. A transformation is stirring from deep within. Thoughts once heavy and weary will become as light as autumn leaves. Moods once shrouded in gloom will dissolve under the radiant sun of my presence. And even your body, once weighed down by life's burdens, will start to rediscover its vitality. Like parched earth, drinking in the refreshing rains of a new season. This renewal will not be confined to moments of quiet prayer or still worship. No, my child. The life I breathe into you will ripple into every corner of your existence. It will infuse your work, turning weariness into inspiration. It will touch your relationships, transforming misunderstandings into empathy, soothing conflicts and rekindling love. It will transform the very way you perceive life, empowering you to no longer fear the unknown, but to stand firm, facing the future with the steady gaze of one who is assured by an unchanging love. When you choose to remain in me, not merely passing by in haste, but truly abiding, you will be filled with a new flow. Every word I speak to you will be like a seed sown into good soil. It will not return void, but will sprout and bear fruit in its season. You will notice a distinct difference. No longer will anxiety seize your mind with each morning's awakening. No longer will fear weigh heavily upon your shoulders as night falls. Instead, you will be enveloped in a steadfast peace that does not come from this world, and a joy that is not dependent on circumstances. You will learn to walk through storms without trembling, to live amid losses without breaking, because within you will reside a strength that surpasses all human understanding. My love is not merely a beautiful concept. It is a living reality, a sure refuge, an inexhaustible source of strength. And my truth, unchanging, undistorted by the tides of culture or the opinions of men, is the firm foundation upon which you can rebuild your life. Let that love, let that truth become the roots and the lifeblood of your spirit. For when you stand firmly upon that foundation, nothing will be able to shake you. When the storm rages, you will not be swept away. When darkness encroaches, the light within you will continue to burn. Take a moment to look at yourself, not through the eyes of self-doubt, but through my loving gaze. You are being transformed. Each passing day is not meaningless. These are steps leading you deeper into the sacred presence, where you will increasingly reflect my glory and my goodness. Every action you take, even the smallest one, will carry a different frequency, a frequency from heaven, capable of stirring even the seemingly immovable things of this world. And then, you will no longer live just for yourself. You will become a living testimony for those who are seeking true life. People will see the light within you, not because you strive to shine, but because you have chosen to dwell close to me. You will not need to shout for others to know you belong to me. Rather, the profound peace and resilient vitality within you will speak on your behalf. The gentleness in your dealings, the patience in your waiting, and the strength in your endurance through trials will be the clearest evidence of the one who walks with you. Therefore, my beloved, do not miss the daily opportunity to step into my presence. Do not seek me only when you are weary, but abide, journey, and live with me in every moment. For my presence is not a mere part of your life. Now, lift up to me your sincere prayer. You may say, Lord, today I pause amidst the noise of the world to listen for your voice. Please help me cast aside every distraction and open my heart like fertile ground, ready to receive the seed of truth. I do not want to continue living as one who misses this sacred moment. Awaken my spirit so I may recognize the trumpet call and no longer delay stepping into what you have prepared for my life. Lord, I remember the gentle whispers from before, the soft warnings I once ignored. Now I know you are no longer speaking through a mere breeze, but with a decisive voice. Please forgive my delays, and for the times my heart was not deep enough to grasp the urgency of your call. Today, I choose to respond. I choose to face what you reveal. Lead me into the journey of truth and restoration. Lord, I do not want to move forward carrying the baggage of hesitation and disobedience. I do not want to bring the old into the new door you are opening. Please show me what is hindering the flow of grace in my life. I surrender to you the things I have long been afraid to confront, the wounds that have quietly festered within me. Reach into the deepest places of my heart and uproot anything that bears no fruit. Lord, I know you are calling me back to the divine path, not to condemn me, but to rescue me from my wandering. Help me no longer fear the truth, for I believe that the truth in you will set me free. Grant me a spirit that is sensitive enough to discern the voice of God from the voice of fear disguised. Lord, I hear your voice resounding within my soul. The time has come. Help me no longer run away. Give me the courage to let go of any relationship, habit, or wound that binds my soul. I do not want to delay the miracle of restoration by clinging to what is old. I long to step into the life you have destined for me, a life of freedom and fullness. Lord, amid a world that is trembling and shaken, please keep me from being swept away by the current of fear. When I hear news that shakes the hearts of men, remind me that you are still reigning. You have never left your glorious throne. Fill my mind with divine understanding, that I may not tremble before upheaval, but stand firm upon your eternal promises. Lord, help me to sever every connection with the lies that once bound my mind. Fill every empty place within me with your presence, so that I no longer live in doubt, but live by faith, secure in the loving arms of my Father. Lord, today I lay down everything I have clung to out of fear of loss. I no longer wish to deceive myself into believing that time alone will heal wounds that have never been touched. Come into the deepest places, the ones I have never allowed anyone to reach, and bring the light of life there. I surrender my fears to receive your peace. I release the old to step into the new season you have prepared for me. Lord, I now understand that what holds me back is not weakness, but fear. But today I refuse to let fear rule my heart. I declare that faith in you will be the loudest voice in my soul. Give me the courage to open my hands and say, Lord, I surrender this to you. I believe that you will not only receive it, but you will also replace it with something better, something eternal, unshakable, and filled with glory. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you love the Lord, don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any meaningful and life-giving messages from Him. Together, we will grow in faith and live a life fully immersed in His love. Amen.